At the same time that there's an Ebola outbreak in West Africa.
Yes.
And there is a connection to gain-of-function research as a potential origin for that outbreak, and it was successfully covered up. And that is really what this story is about. I mean, you can't play God with this stuff. I mean, these things are, there's no way to model all the blowback.
Well, they're living organisms, for one thing. They're not static, so you can't fully understand them.
You can't, and that when you layer in arrogance and you layer in unchecked power and you layer in lack of transparency and oversight, the amount of damage that can be done from this work is exponential. It's exponential at that point, you know? When you have people who haven't been challenged for 20 years on their decisions and who have amassed so much power and just put yes men around them. And there were other, and what I discovered in looking into it was that you start to see a pattern and that there were other events. In fact, you brought up Obama regulating gain of function. Well, that happens right at the same time that there's an Ebola outbreak in West Africa.
Yes.
And there is a connection to gain of function research as a potential origin for that outbreak, and it was successfully covered up. And you find the same people who were implicated in that outbreak, including Anthony Fauci, on secret teleconferences right after the news breaks about COVID. And they actually happen to be people who write the most passionate papers that COVID came from nature, people who were previously suspected of being the source of a lab leak.
So we can say those people were lying when they claimed it came from the wet market in Wuhan.
I think that there's no way a reasonable person can look at the evidence here and think that people were telling the truth, think that Anthony Fauci was telling the truth, think that the scientists who wrote these papers wrote them with any ethical standards and that they didn't commit fraud. It appears that they all committed some form of fraud, whether it be scientific fraud. Some of these crimes are felonies.